Hello Saberland, Vader's Vault here, showing you our latest and greatest combat class saber to date. This is the Ardent. At long last I'm able to show you guys what I've been working on for the last several months. It is probably one of our most detailed combat class sabers that we've brought out. We wanted to do something a little bit more traditional, something that had design cues that harken back to the original trilogy sabers. Or some of the other expanded universe sabers that also used similar themes. This is our first thin neck design in the combat class, but we wanted to also keep it fully duel worthy. So we took extra care in the design of this saber to make sure that even though it has a true thin neck, that you won't have to worry about it at all. Our combat class has always been first and foremost for the active saberist, those dueling groups or choreography groups, stage groups that actually use their sabers and want them to look great as well. They're sized comfortably. You know, we have the slimmest production sabers on the market with sound and the best lighting that there is. So we wanted to keep within those guidelines, but also get a more topographically interesting hilt with tons of detail and a lot of features that I think you guys are going to love. First and foremost, you'll notice that the emitter is extremely busy here. We've got some nice smooth rings up here at the top. We have the elite versions here in the middle that we're looking at, and those will be able to be chosen with different color accents, similar to our Fury LGs and Revan Elites. You can choose from the different translucent colors that we have: copper, gold, red, blue, black chrome, and purple. Now, when you get past the nice smooth rings here, we've got 4 sets of light emitting vents that go through into the blade socket there. Round on the insides of the track, flat on the other side. Every edge of it is chamfered, very smooth, very nice, clean looking gill slits, and there are 4 sets of them to let out all sorts of wonderful light, especially from the super powerful Sun Crusher LEDs that we use. When you get past the bottom bell here of the emitter, you got our nice thin neck here. Try to move these here a little bit so you guys can see. Now this neck is very robust. It is a true thin neck, but it is very thick walled. We have just enough room in there to pass the wires through, and that's it. And then we've got some filleting going on the outside and the inside to add extra strength in the engineering. Every surface of this saber, just like the rest of our combat class, has been chamfered and softened so that there are no hard edges to catch or hurt your fingers. Even the rim of the AV switch countersink has been chamfered, so it doesn't even catch on your finger that way. Familiar groove section here for the grip provides a nice slip-free grip for your hand there, and vertically milled section here, similar to, I guess, the booster section of some traditional looking sabers. And the pommel, very familiar in look, but also still unique. Is a cubed design in the power cell look, but also very slim, so it doesn't stick out much past the hilt there. So nothing to catch your hand on. And again, everything chamfered and softened for comfort. Nice wide sound slots there in the pommel for nice volume. Up here on the switch section, a nice detailed area here just to add some busy look to the and detail to the switch section, so it isn't just plain Jane switches. And of course our low profile auxiliary switch underneath the main switch for easy access to auxiliary sound effects and lighting effects with the RGB feature and your mute and blaster block and lockup features. Most of the saber, just like our other combat class, you will find is in the 1.25 inch diameter range, so very comfortable in the hand. with just some of the areas going just above that, just to provide a little bit more detail and something to catch the eye. You know, we wanted a lot of different angles and different depths to this saber, so we did go outside of the strict 1.25 inch outer diameter just a tad, and I think most of you guys will find this very pleasing. It is extremely comfortable. I love the lighting effect coming out of the gill slits here at the top, and it is an extremely well balanced saber, very loud. And of course, just like all the rest of our combat class sabers, it will come with the crystal shard soundboard from Plector Labs, and we use currently the Cree XPE2 Sun Crusher LEDs, and most of these here that are our demo sabers are the RGBs, so I will go through some of those features in just a second. And like I said earlier, there will be 3 different versions, just like a lot of our other sabers. We have the Elite versions here, which will have the different trans-colored accent areas here in the neck and the emitter rings, as well as the black powder-coated grip section and all the inlay areas, and those are areas around the switch powder-coated black. We have the dark variant, which has most of the saber coated in black powder coat with the rings taken back off. Grip section is fairly the same. Switch section here, that detail around the switch has been left silver to help stand out in contrast with the black hilt, and the tops of the cubes on the pommel have been taken back off just to give it some contrast there. Very cool for a dark variant. And then of course we have our standard finish, which is just the very bright machine finish that comes straight from our awesome shop that we get these machined in. And of course all of these will be able to be weathered, so you can choose weathering on the standard version like a lot of people do to help add some contrast and some used look to the sabers. Alright, let me go through a little bit of the functionality of the hilt. If you have one of our combat class sabers, you are pretty familiar with how this works. If not, if you're new to this, well, let's show you how this goes. Pretty much every saber that we have in our combat class line operates exactly the same, and you can access all the parts exactly the same. We have 2 switches. We have your main activation switch up here, which is either a non-lighted or lighted anti-vandal switch that is recessed here. That can come in 3 different body colors: black, silver, and gold, and a variety of different lighted ring colors, or you can get them non-lighted and just have them plain. Underneath is the low-profile auxiliary switch, and you use that for everything from triggering blaster block sound effects, lock-up sound effects, changing your sound fonts, activating the mute function, and also changing colors if you have the RGB upgrade option on your saber. And those are usually done with different combination of button presses between the main switch and the auxiliary switch. The saber, when you get it, will have the battery installed, but it will be in sleep mode. Any button that you press will boot it up out of sleep mode, and then it will be ready to use until you've turned it off and left it sitting for a few moments, and then it will go back into sleep mode. Like that. So now it is booted up. It is ready to use. Press the activation button again, and it turns on. To access your battery is simply unscrewing the pommel, set it over here to the side, and tap the bottom of the hilt onto your palm, and you can slide the chassis out. Here you will see the 18650 size lithium-ion battery cell and your soundboard back here. On top of the soundboard you will see the SD card. That is where, if you wanted to change any of your settings or parameters to your personal liking, swing sensitivity, clash sensitivity, volume, flicker settings, shimmer settings. If you had the RGB upgrade, it's where you would also adjust your shades of color or replace and swap out colors. And it was also where you would add or change sound fonts. The saber comes with 3 sound fonts standard. It can hold up to 6, just like the rest of our combat class. And you can choose, peruse, and preview and purchase from over 250 other sound fonts at www.saberfont.com. once you've made any changes, or if you've charged your battery, if that's why you opened the saber up, make sure you put your battery back in correctly. The positive end of the battery needs to go towards the blade or towards the emitter. That is very important. You don't want to damage any of the electronics of the saber, so let's just make sure we put the battery back in correctly. Make sure you carefully push the chassis back in. Try not to push on the speaker itself. Try to push around the edge of the speaker. Just get it back into where the chassis clears the end, and use your pommel to thread in and push it back in the rest of the way. And then you can boot it back up, turn it back on, and you're good to go. For activating the other features, this is an RGB saber, so I will take you through some of those changes. If you want to boot it up in mute mode, you would want to hold the auxiliary button while you turn the saber on, and that will give you light and all your lighting effects. Fast flash on clash, blaster, lockup, even color change, all without sound. So for those late night practices or where you just don't want sound, there you go, there's your mute mode. For your normal operation, again, blaster blocks, lockups, and of course your color changes. Pressing both at the same time yields you the ability to cycle through the 10 color presets that you have on board at the same time, so you can have any color at any time with the RGB upgrade. We're very excited about this Ardent saber. We hope you guys enjoy our take on a very traditional theme, and look for it in the store tonight along with our other combat class sabers. Thanks again from Vader's Vault. Have a good one.